What up, y'all? It's your man, Abuamerican. Believe it or not, this is like the fifth time I'm trying to record this video. Can't get in my groove today, man. Just like tripping over words and stuff. It's really starting to frustrate me. All right. So if you've been paying attention to the news, two generals, Army Chief of Staff Mark A. Milley and Marine Commandant Robert B. Neller both called for women to be subject to the draft, right? They said their reasoning and their logic was, we have women in frontline combat roles. So the whole women don't serve in combat type thing is out the window. And they're saying that we live in a society where men and women are considered equal to each other. So women should be subject to the draft, just like men. Now, according to the author of this article, a Mr. Christopher Preble from the Washington Post, I think, or Washington Times, I can't remember. It'll be linked in the low bar. He, 2 days after the general said this, proposed that the draft just be done away with altogether. The draft, which has been in place since World War I, and according to his article, the peacetime draft was instituted in 1940. Now, obviously, we know that there are consequences for not responding to the draft in a time of war, which can, end up which can lead you to end up in jail, or certain jobs you can't apply for. I do believe that if a man is not registered for the draft, he can't vote. So there's a lot of consequences that come along with the draft and responsibilities. Responsibilities and consequences that women have been free of for quite some time, aka since it was instituted. Now, I have to ask first and foremost, this guy, he says, the draft is an archaic system that's no longer necessary because we have a voluntary fighting force, and it's been functioning in the past couple of decades, with the whole Afghanistan wars and Iraq and all this stuff, without the draft. Fine, fair enough. But I have to ask, this guy, Christopher Preble, why did he wait till now, 2 days after these generals called for women to be subject to the draft, to say that the draft should be discarded altogether? Really, nigga? I mean, why now? Why not when you first became a writer? The day you walked in the door. What is it really that significant of a change? Either it was like totally pointless and useless for a while now, or only when you want a white knight for women. Which is it? We know this guy is white knighting for women. Probably a male feminist, can't get none. This is his way of trying to suck up to some woman somewhere, including, if he's married, then probably suck up to his feminist wife or something like this. Guy definitely needs to man up and get his cojones back in his pocket. But whatever. I'm not going to go into too many personal attacks on this guy, but it really makes me sick. It makes me want to vomit. Anyway, I do believe that this, if this gets pushed forward, if these generals really push for this, that the draft will probably be dropped. And we come to find that women do have a significant degree of power in our society. It is a gynocentric, feminist-run society, despite their claims that it's patriarchal. Women do hold the power because they hold the vote. They're the vast majority of voters. Not the vast majority, but they do have a majority. And when they want something, they get it. And that's mostly because men want to please women. Like this guy, he's trying to, please women. No, look at me. I love you guys. Don't you love me? God, guy, learn some game. So anyway, women in the West tend to get what they want. Show me something that women in the West have not demanded and didn't get. I'll wait. Nonetheless, while you're thinking of that, I'm gonna carry on. Now, the reason why I think they're gonna get rid of the draft altogether if this gets pushed forward is first and foremost, they don't want to open up to the doorway or the door to the argument of why women should still be free of the draft, but the draft is still in place. Because then they're going to have to open up the door to women not being as strong as men, not being mentally as tough as men, not being able to function in highly, stressful situations like combat and make decisions, rational decisions, on the fly like men. They don't want to open that door. So the only other option there is to do is to get rid of it. You can't keep the status quo if these guys get this pushed forward, and I really hope they do. And so what's going to happen? The draft will probably get, abolished if these guys really get their way and they push this forward. This brings me to something that I've been saying for a while, is that women want and they want and they want, but one thing they don't want with all of their desires is responsibility and accountability. Women want power and equality without the responsibility and the obligatory burden that comes with it. This includes the draft. And they've had this deference from Western society for quite some time. And they want to maintain that. They don't only want to maintain it, they want archaic chivalry from men, which is associated with patriarchy. But they don't want the patriarchy. They just want everything men have, plus they want to be treated like queens and princesses and all this other stuff. This, of course, is naturally not tenable. It's not sustainable. It's not something you can carry on, that women just keep on getting and getting and getting and getting and getting, and then they don't have like a degree of responsibility for everything they get. You know, I teach that to my kids. You know, if I buy you something, you take care of it. You know, it's yours. Don't ask me to carry it after I bought it for you. You carry it from the store back home or whatever else. Society is not doing this to women. You're spoiling them. Listen, I'm telling you, feminism, and this isn't my statement, but I agree 100% and wholeheartedly, feminism and all of this stuff is just a great big shit test. It's a great big congruence test for women. And you guys are failing miserably because you won't tell them no. You won't put them in their place. I'm telling you, make them responsible or push them back into a corner and say, hey, look, I'm going to treat you like a kid if you want to act like one. But this right here, this can't carry on. And you white knights like Mr. Christopher Preble, stop. You know, you're the worst enemies for women. You say women are equal on one foot. I'm guarantee you this guy says stuff like that. They're equals. You know, what do you call it? Misogynistic men type say this stuff. Yeah, but see, you are the enemy to women. You're the type of guy that gives me fuel to believe that, you know what, you're right. Women aren't equal to men. They're not as strong as us. They're not as fast as us. Sexual dimorphism favors us, gives us larger, denser bones, muscles, and brains, which makes us smarter than them on average. And if it wasn't the case, why are you white knighting for them? They don't need your protection. Don't save them. She don't want to be saved. You guys, man. Do you think about what you do here when you do this stuff? Feminists also. You make women get these victim complexes, these object complexes, instead of making them responsible agents. And then what happens? Guys like me and similar-minded guys get called misogynists because we're just seeing it how it is and calling it out. You won't catch my daughter acting like an object. You know, my daughter is an agent. That's why she's doing so well in the what do you call it? In her pursuits. Anything she pursues, she does well. Anyway, guys, you really got to stop. Stop white knighting for women. If they want it, let them have it, and let them have the associated responsibility that comes with whatever they're requesting. I can't go tell someone, hey, I want a car. I mean, I could. Hey, I want a car. And then they buy me the car, and I'm like, oh, well, you gonna drive it for me? I need to go to the store, man. They're like, no, go get a driver's license. Okay, so I begrudgingly go get a driver's license. Hey, man, it's insurance, man. I don't know why I should have to pay for it. I didn't buy the car, man. You bought it for me. You should pay the insurance. Can you imagine if I went through life like that, just demanding stuff and then not taking the necessary steps or responsibility, you know, to maintain it and to function with that thing? That's what women in the West are doing. And this is why you're having so many problems now with immigrants in Europe raping your women left and right. You've castrated the men socially, and they no longer think a woman needs protection because they've grown up on the concept that women are equal to men. They're watching movies their entire life. Oh, yeah, this 80-pound woman is going to whoop this 230-pound guy's butt. Like, and you, oh, God. I can't. Some days I can't do this. What's wrong with y'all? Do you not see how you're destroying your society? If you strip your men of masculinity, if you strip them of patriarchal control, what do you think is going to happen? A patriarchal society is going to come in, one that's foreign to yours, and it's going to take over. And this comes back into my immigration thing, but I'm not going to get into that right now. Anyway, this is how we are where we are today. And it's not a good place. I know a lot of y'all say, oh, women are equal, blacks are equal, this, that, the other, and blah, 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 blah. I'm not saying people shouldn't have equal opportunities. That's not what I'm saying. What we need to change is the concept that equal opportunity means equal outcomes. And women want equal opportunity and equal outcomes. But that's not possible. Because I'm bigger and stronger and faster than someone, and if we're in a race that favors bigger, stronger, faster people, I should win. There should be no reason why I should have to start at the zero part in a 100-meter race. I should have to start at 0. This guy gets to start at 75, and we're racing to 100. It's just not like that. If you fail, you fail. If you can't carry the weight, you can't carry the weight. But just be ready to accept that you are going to be put in that particular order, if you will. You know, you're last. Sorry, buddy, you don't get to join this club. We don't do it in professional sports. You don't make the team, you don't make the team. Women get used to it. Some things you just can't do. No, men and women aren't equal. We're not. We're not. Stop it. Just, you guys are going to wreck. You're going to wreck society and everything that's been built up over generations. This cycle, if you listen to Turd Flinging Monkey, it never stops. And it starts and stops with stuff like this. I know I've gone off on a big tangent here, but what I'm saying is, this is how we came to where we are. Just inch by inch creeping of just feminist and gynocentric ideology and rules and laws and stripping away stuff. And what are we left with? Pockets of real men who can't be real men in public because it's not, what is it called? Politically correct. And social justice warriors might jump on them. Well, social justice warrior this. Women are not equal to men. Men are the maintainers and the creators of every society throughout the world. Any society that's worth anything. Because if you find me a society built by women, where is it today? Where is this great society? Every great culture and society that is still surviving and thriving to this day started off with a male society, got taken over by another male society, and has been replaced by a male society, bringing us to where we are today. And you don't find one matriarchal society there. Women, you're not equal to us. Stop it. That doesn't make you a lesser human. That doesn't mean we care for you less. That doesn't mean we put you on par with dogs, cats, and pet fish. But patriarchy is all about men building societies for the safety of their people, their children, and their women included. Anyway, I'm just annoyed, man. I'm annoyed. I really shouldn't be, but this is your man, Abuamerican. Stop white knighting. Phooey. Stop white knighting. I'm out.